G'day Cheat Code community. So we're back for another round of best question wins, which is where obviously we'll ask for content requests and you guys will ask questions that hopefully I can answer through the week. And generally we'll just pick the best question, the one that we think can add the most value to you guys and your journey as salespeople, entrepreneurs, or athletes, or whatever it is where you strive for greatness. This week's winner was Ryan Smith, and it's quite a long one, so I'm gonna read it out here, but this is the question he asked. He says, how can I structure my 5 to 9 p.m. hours after work to balance productivity with personal fulfillment, ensuring I make progress on my goals while still having time for my partner, training, and hobbies? Where should I draw the line between healthy ambition and burnout? And how can I genuinely switch off without feeling guilty or restless? Many times I'm trying to do work after work at a very low productivity level. However, whenever I call it a day, there's a part of me that feels guilty or frustrated with myself. And then there's days where I just don't care about getting any work done as a consequence of a forever good cop, bad cop battle in my head. That's actually a good question. So basically the long and short of it is, how do I get productive after work to work on my own business while still having the, security of a job, getting yourself set up and having the security for a job without compromising your fulfillment and your personal life and stuff like that? Short answer, you don't. But it's not as bad as you think. So you do not want to be doing productive things at 5 p.m. And the reason being is because when you wake up in the morning, you start with the most dopamine and cortisol. Now, cortisol, we generally associate it with it being bad, but it also does help you focus. And so cortisol in small amounts is actually good for you. And so as you wake up, what you'll find is you'll start with, your maximum amount of dopamine, unless you're coming off the back of a bender or whatever. And you will gradually throughout the day, about 2 p.m.-ish, between 1 and 2 p.m., depending on how early you wake up, you'll experience a drop, and it'll be a vast drop. So it's not like a gradual, steady drop. It's like a plummet. And so doing anything, especially if you're a little ADD like most of us, doing anything productive after 2 p.m. is a waste of time and a stupid idea. What you'll generally find is that you'll actually get your serotonin will start low at the start of the day while the dopamine starts high. And then throughout the latter parts of the day, you'll experience more of that serotonin and that soothing and relaxation and things like that. And so here's the answer to the question. Don't do productive things in the afternoon if you have a 9 to 5. And be very clear, there's no shame in a 9 to 5. If you are taking active steps and not kidding yourself that you're doing a day job while working on your dreams. It's a common myth that you have to be all in. There's actually a pretty substantial amount of data. I think it was an Adam Grant book, his most recent one, where the data shows most CEOs or people that started their own, hyper successful businesses, I'm not talking about middling ones, almost all of them had a job and quit that job once their business was making more money than the job that they had. Some of them even had good jobs. So the whole idea that you have to quit one job to do the other is actually wrong. If you do have a business that you want to start. The thing that you've got to hack though, and this is where it just takes a bit of discipline, you've got to understand two concepts, and they are time boxing and ultradian rhythms or ultradian windows. So the whole idea behind time boxing is you set aside time that you protect. That is a window. You do this thing at that time every day, no matter what. And then once that's done, you're done with that thing, and then you can go time box other things. So boxing that time, really putting a strong border around it and not breaking it, it takes some discipline. And so if I am somebody who is working a 9 to 5, I would look at my morning as the time when I've got the most dopamine and the most cortisol. That is when you'll be the most productive. That's when you'll get into a rhythm. Now, sometimes you'll wake up and you go, I don't feel like it. Got to remember the 5-minute rule. The 5-minute rule is very, very simple. What of this can I do in 5 minutes? Because that then opens up a loop, a Zeigarnik loop, where naturally if we start something, we want to finish it. Same as like if you start folding your clothes, you want to fold all the clothes, you start washing the dishes, you end up washing all the dishes. Your brain likes to close loops. If it starts something, it's going to finish it. And so just trick yourself every morning and just go, okay, what can I do in 5 minutes and then do that 5 minutes, and then you'll find you'll be able to do another 2 hours of that thing. So time boxing and the 5-minute rule are going to be your best friend in the morning to do your work time. Then what I would recommend is understanding the concept of ultradian windows. Ultradian windows is basically peak performance windows. So we operate in the zone at a really a range between about 90 minutes and 2 hours. It takes about 20 minutes or so to get into a flow state if you're not distracted. If your phone's going off, that's why the mornings are also really good, because if your phone's going off, in the day, it's much harder to get in the zone because you get distracted. Whereas if you're up at 5, nobody's bothering you. Like nobody's awake doing anything, or if they are, they're doing their own thing. So it's an undistracted window of time, and the how it'll work. So it normally takes about 20 minutes or so to get into a peak performance window if you're not distracted, and that will generally last for about 90 minutes to 2 hours, and then you'll start experiencing diminishing returns. That's when you'll normally want to take a 10-minute break just to let your dopamine reset, get some food, go outside, whatever you need to do. But that morning time is the most crucial time to work on your business, unless it's a business that you do overseas that you need to be up late to do, which does happen. It's a global economy now. What you really want to work on is making sure that you protect that 5 to 6:30 window. So just 90 minutes, that's your 90 minutes. And 6:30, if your job starts at 9, you've still got time to go to the gym after that. So down a pre-workout and go to the gym and then go to the office. And that's how you'll be productive. And so then it's like, okay, well, how do I balance my hobbies and my partner? You do it in the afternoon. Don't do work stuff in the afternoon, because you're going to do a crap job at it and you're going to be distracted while you're doing it anyway. And so you don't have to sacrifice both. You just have to go to bed at 9 instead of 11. Go to bed at 9:30 p.m. and wake up at 5 instead of going to bed at 11 because you're scrolling Instagram and making your brain think it's daytime. So that's my recommendation is set an ultradian window of 90 minutes every morning that you never break, no matter what, as soon as you get up, and really leverage that 5-minute rule. And then you've got no excuse not to do the helpful things in the afternoon. The things that fill your cup up, your hobbies, your sports, your partner, whatever it is, the stuff that fills your cup, that is how you do both. And that's actually the most optimal way to do both, because you'll do more in that focused 90 minutes than you would in 4 hours after work of distracted and low dopamine time anyway. That is how you build a business around a 9 to 5.